we've now got the backdrop of the Houses of Parliament of the Westminster Village, and one of the really curious aspects of PFI is that most of the parties, well, all of the mainstream parties, tend to oppose PFI when they're in opposition, when they're not in government. It's very easy to, because it's clearly crazy. They seem to weirdly take a dramatically different approach when they actually get their hands on power in this country. And we've got some great quotes here. So one Labour Deputy Leader, Harriet Harman, back in the day, said very unambiguously, PFI is backdoor privatisation. And then New Labour went on to sign 620 PFI contracts. George Osborne, before the coalition government took over, said, quote, "The government's use of PFI has become totally discredited, so we need new ways to leverage private sector investment. Labour's PFI model is flawed and must be replaced. We need a new system that doesn't pretend that risks have been transferred to the private sector when they can't be, and which genuinely transfers risks when they can be." And of course we've seen under the coalition government a massive expansion of PFI, and it's gone hand in hand with the expansion of academy schools and free schools. Many of the academies are PFI projects, and they're also actually not only PFI projects, but academy schools are limited companies taken out of local authority control. One of the interesting aspects of that is that, you know, Michael Gove and the Tory government said, well, the reason we're doing this is part of our localism agenda. We want power based more locally and not devolved up to local authority level. But what actually happened is that they took the powers that used to reside with local authorities, which were at least, clue is in the title, local, and actually centralised them in Westminster, in the Department for Education. So it's kind of, the localism agenda actually did localise power there, not in your local town and community. And probably Labour's Alan Milburn, which most of you will remember really fondly, it's a bastion of socialism, was actually closest to the trees when he said, quote, this is in 1997, "When there is a limited amount of public sector capital available, as there is, it's PFI or bust." So no one of these main three parties is seriously going to take on PFI, and you really need to bear that in mind. Sorry to beat a drum here, but we're about to have a general election in this country, and I know a lot of people are talking about, you know, voting Labour to keep the Tories out and make things better, and I have massive sympathy for that view. The only problem is it doesn't stack up, and when you actually look at what the performance of the 13 years of Labour gave us, and actually the proposals being put forward by Ed Miliband today, you are only going to see more privatisation, more commercialisation, and a hell of a lot more of these PFI contracts. So if you are against that, kind of voting for a party that is ostensibly for that is not going to get you what you want. So it is time for us to get as radical with our votes and with our activity as these guys are with promoting their activities and their goals.
Tactical voting is exactly what they want us to do.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Right, guys, so we're now going to cross the road and head down to HMRC on Whitehall.